Tilden speaking. One day, I was practicing for a tournament. Down the side of a court came a youngster, stopped to watch. His name? That doesn't make any difference. He's just a typical American kid. Picked up one of my rackets, took a swing at it, and then stopped to look at it. I was serving, and I saw him. Came over. Do you like tennis? I don't know. You like to play? I don't know. What are you doing? I'm practicing. Gee, do you still have to practice? Why, I've got to practice all the time in this game. Would you like to hit a few with me? Sure. All right. You go on over there. I'll hit a couple to you. So he went out on his side of the court. I hit a couple of balls to him. The first he took a wave at and missed. The second he managed to hit right down at his feet. Wait a minute, son. What do you think you're using anyway, an axe? It's a tennis racket. You know why you missed that first shot? Because you didn't look at it. The first rule and fundamental of tennis is keep your eye on the ball. Look at my eyes. They're never off it. Now you try it. He did. Very well, too. Then I showed him something else. I call it racket. Getting used to a racket. Just bouncing the ball back and forth. He did that pretty well. So then I asked him, how did you hit the ball? He took a wave at it with a racket like a club. Wait a minute. Shake hands with me. So then I just took my hand away and I put the racket in and let him shake hands with the racket. See the palm of the hand against the flat side of the racket handle at the back, and the straight line of the arm, hand, racket handle, and racket head, and short strings up and down. That's the back view of the Eastern drive grip. There's the front view. So now, how about the stroke? Well, you face the net to win the ball, and as it comes to you, you step across with the left foot to the right for a forehand drive, dropping the racket head behind you, and then swinging it through waist high to the very end of your swing. Take a look at those legs. He steps over to it. But if he has to get away from it, it's too close, he steps back with the right foot. Now he's in position, stepping across and swinging right straight through to the end of his swing. I told him I'd show him a few forehand drives if I could. I had to get away from that one, so I stepped back with my right foot. Here I have to reach for one, so I step across with my left foot. The side view shows the same thing. Well, he came in and hit a few. He had to get away from that one, so he stepped back. The side view shows him step into the ball. Here's a nice shot. He stepped way over, the racket down, his eye on the ball, and a long follow through. The side view shows him get away from one. And then he reaches way over. So having learned a little about the forehand, he swapped a few shots. I made a bit of a mistake to put one on his backhand. He had to stab at it. Wait a minute, son. Take it easy. I'll be right there. I'll show you something about this backhand now. You know, you can't hit a backhand with a forehand grip, because if you did, you'd be hitting against the back of your hand and you wouldn't have any swing. So I took him over and showed him the backhand grip. In the forehand drive grip, which is behind the racket handle, you turn the hand back a quarter circle until the palm of the hand is on top of the racket handle. Here again, you have the straight line of the arm, hand, racket handle, and racket head. There's the front view of the grip. Here's your back view. And you notice how the thumb is diagonally across the racket handle, not up the back. So I made him stand facing the net for the first backhand shot. Then he steps over as the ball comes with that right foot. The racket drops back. It comes out and meets the ball at a point, at least on a line with the right hip, and travels directly through to the very end of his swing. I'll hit a few for you. You can see the right foot go out to the ball. I didn't like that too well. My racket was pretty high. In slow motion, you get the foot position perfectly. See the racket drop below the ball and carry through. Here's a wide one. I step way over. Here's the slow motion picture of the same shot, and again my racket head was a little too high. The racket head's lower. That's a better shot. So now I have him hitting some. The foot over, the low racket head. Notice how quiet the body is at the moment the ball is struck. So having learned that, we start and hit a few backhand shots backwards and forward. A nice shot. He took his time. Perfect foot position. And as he finished his last shot, I came over and said, now I'm going to show you how this game really starts. That's the slice service. You take a position sideways to the net, and it's based on throwing. I had him throw the ball across the net, and then I gave him his racket. Now, halfway between the forehand and the backhand grip, you place the hand and make an angle with the wrist between the arm, racket, and hand. You've just seen both the front and back views of this grip. Then I told him to throw as if he was going to send a racket across the net. And I gave him a ball and told him to toss it as high as he could comfortably reach to the right of his head. And then, when it was up there, throw the racket at it. Here's my part service. You can see the ball goes up to the right of my head. I toss it there as my racket comes up. The side view shows that very clearly. I toss the ball just as high as I'm going to hit it. From the rear, you get the perfect picture of the ball coming up on the right and the racket following it and traveling from the right to the left across the body. The slow motion service shows very clearly how the racket travels directly to the court and ends on the left of the body. Now he came in and began to serve a few. He style's very nice. You can see him actually throw that racket around. From the side, you can see how high he reaches. I think in that case the toss was a little bit too high. In the rear view, you get the angle of the ball to the right of his head and the racket traveling across it toward the left. So having learned the forehand and the backhand and the service, he now had a chance to start to play a little. And we began to really play the game. I had him mixing his shots, forehand and backhand. He moved well. And finally I drove him wide, and on that we called it a day.